Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to give you a list of all the tools you actually need to start sewing in no particular order. Let's get to it. I'm excited. The first thing you need is a measuring tape. You can get a retractable measuring tape or you can get this type of measuring tape. The retractable measuring tape is kind of cute and it's very portable, so you can basically take it wherever you go. The next thing you need are rulers. I love this small one. It comes in handy. The next one is the curved ruler, okay? Now ignore what it looks like. It's been used, okay? This is a very old ruler. It's been very used, very appreciated. That's why it looks the way that it does. But it has a straight line. It also has this hip curve and it also has this line right here in the middle. I guess this is for colors or whatever type of tricky curves that you need to do. This is handy. You also need your flexible ruler. This is for measuring the armhole of your bodice. Because sometimes it's not recommended to measure the armhole on your pattern with a measuring tape. So they usually recommend a flex. And then there's this ruler. This is a 20-inch ruler, but there is actually one that is a lot longer. That's for pattern drafting. Like if you want to draft a coat or pants, anything that is too long, that's what that ruler is used for. This is called an owl. Another way to use this is if you're going to be using heavy fabrics or heavy materials like leather, something thick. Also, when I want to do my grommets on my corset, I pierce it with this first and then I put in my grommets. You need these as well. I usually have two on me. One is for paper and one is for fabric. So make sure that they're different colors so that you know exactly which one is which. Because if you start using your fabric scissors to cut your paper, your fabric scissors is going to get blunt very fast. So make sure that they're different colors and you can at least tell the difference. I also have this tracing wheel. This is what I use to transfer my darts onto my fabric. So for example, if I want to transfer this particular dart onto my paper or fabric, I'm going to run this on that line right there and it's going to transfer onto my fabric. You also need your chalks in different colors. I have the white, the red, I have a yellow, and I also have this chalk. You can see it sort of moves around. Can you see it moves around? There's a chalk in here, and if I shake it like this, you can see something falling out of it. So this is what I use to line silk or satin fabrics, and just fabrics that seem like they won't take a lot of color on it. Like if it's not going to be able to take color on it, I'm going to use this. An alternative to the chalks are fabric pens. Okay, you can get this on Amazon. The difference between this and chalks is once you put heat on the fabric pen, it disappears. I actually highly recommend getting a fabric pen instead of chalks if you're just starting out. The next thing on the list, seam rippers. If you make a mistake, this is your best friend. And like I always have a lot of these on me so that, you know, if I ever fuck up, oops. I would advise you to get more than one. Okay, just get more than one. Get at least 3 if you can. Just have enough on you because you're going to be making a lot of mistakes when you start sewing and you're going to need these. These are your best friends. You also need a thread cutter. This one right here comes in handy for when you're done stitching. You just snip, snip. You can get this on Amazon as well. And they come in sets. The next thing, beeswax. If you're going to do a lot of hand stitching, you're probably going to need this. That way your thread doesn't like tie up on itself and get all tangled up, and it's frustrating. It really is. So what I like to do, grab your thread and run it through your beeswax at least 3 times. That way you're certain that it's not going to tangle up when you're doing your hand stitching or anything like that. So definitely get beeswax. So the next thing are pins. If you can get these types, get them. They're very long. So this is what it looks like. It's long and it can go through any type of fabric. And you should also get these. These are for silk satin fabrics. Fabrics that are very delicate. You know, when you put a hole through it, you can tell that a hole went through it. Get these. These make those holes very minimal or almost invisible. If you're gonna get pins, get this type and also get this type. And get your pin cushion as well. There's the magnetic type and there is this type. I usually just hang this on my sewing machine. I have like a groove on my sewing machine. I just hook it on it. That way it's in front of me. You can also have the magnetic kind. There's the type that you just sort of put on your wrist and that way it's like right in front of you. There's also this type right here. You can see it has a lot of pins on it already. This is the one that I just leave on my table for when I'm doing my pattern drafting so that I can just go to it easily. However, if you're scared of pins or you would rather not prick yourself as many times as you need to, then get these clips, okay? These are sewing clips and they act as mini pegs. and it's extremely sturdy as well. You don't ever have to worry about it slipping off. The only time it's gonna come off is when you take it off. So I highly recommend this if you're scared of pins, or if you just want to have this, you can get this as well. And speaking of pins and needles, you're going to need to get a bunch of sewing needles. These are varieties of sewing needles. So I have a bunch of universal sewing needles. I have knit and stretch fabric needles. I have the jeans or denim needles, and these are my serger needles. Serger needles are basically the needles that you use to finish off the raw edges of your fabric. Now you don't have to get a serger. If you have a sewing machine that has zigzag stitches, you don't ever have to get a serger. Trust me, those things are very noisy and they can be a little pricey actually. And speaking of sewing machines with a zigzag stitch, get yourself a brother sewing machine. It has a bunch of stitches on it, as you can see, and this is what a serger looks like. You don't have to get it, like I said. As long as you have a sewing machine that has a zigzag stitch on it, you can use that to do your overlocking. You don't have to get a serger, trust me. So you need to get pencils, markers, erasers, and masking tape. These are basically for pattern drafting. Those are the number one things you need for your pattern draft. So the next thing you want to get are thimbles. There is a plastic thimble, metal thimble, and leather thimble. This leather thimble I actually prefer because it doesn't fall off my finger, but the other ones sort of fall off easily. This one sort of just stays there. So I would highly recommend that you get something that looks like this. Go on Amazon, you'll probably find it. This isn't leather, it's more like, what is this? It's not plastic, it's rubber. Yes. This isn't leather, by the way, but there are leather thimbles. This is more like rubber. Okay, it's like thick rubber, like hard rubber actually. It's very, very snug on my finger. So these are bias makers of different sizes. You put your fabric through this, and then you sort of pull this down, and it pushes the fabric up, and then you can pull and iron your fabric as you go. I already have tutorials on my channel on how to use this type of tools. So if you guys still want me to do another tutorial, please let me know and I'll do that. But yeah, you need bias makers of every size. This is the tiniest one. It's so cute. For your sewing machine, you might need other presser foots. So you don't really need this as a beginner, but as you go along on your sewing journey, you might need to sort of have a lot more variety when it comes to sewing foot. This is a set of sewing foot for I believe it's my brother sewing machine, because I also have another sewing machine. I think it's oh my god, what's the other sewing machine? I can't remember what it's called. But I don't use that one because it's more of an industrial sewing machine and it makes a lot of noise. But this is for my brother's sewing machine. You should also get zippers as well. I have zippers of different lengths for dresses or pants or skirts. Whatever the case might be, I have zippers. But sometimes I actually have to go into the store because I find out that the fabric that I have doesn't match my zippers. So that's why I always advise, if you're going to do fabric shopping, make sure that you're buying your thread and your zipper at the store as well. Don't try to buy it at different times or different places because it might not match when you decide to use it altogether. The next thing are threads. Get you a bunch of threads. Mostly get black and white threads, just so that when you're practicing, you're not wasting your colored threads. Also, get a dress form. If you're small, get a size small. If you're a medium, get a size medium. If you're large, get a size large. Extra large, get a size extra large. If you're going to get a body form, make sure that your body form and your measurements match. So my body form and I share almost the same measurements. We have the same bust size, we have the same waist size. The only size we don't share, the hip size, because I'm a little bigger on the hip than my body form. But pretty much we're both a medium. So if you're going to get a body form, make sure that it matches your size. And when you do, get a tape for your body form. Before you start draping on your body form, you have this tape lined out on the body form, sort of creating the designs you want to make and the designs you want to drape on the body form. So if you're going to get a body form, make sure you get a tape for the body form as well. And then this is a notcher. This right here is for notching your paper. So this tool is basically for your pattern. Don't use it on your fabric, it's not gonna work. This is for your pattern, this only works on paper. I would recommend getting a self-healing mat. So this is what it looks like. If you're going to buy a self-healing mat, make sure you're buying a rotary cutter, okay? And if you're gonna buy a rotary cutter, make sure you're buying replacement blades because the blades get blunt eventually. So these right here, these are like a package deal, okay? They come together like this. If you go on Amazon, I'm pretty sure you will find it like this. Self-healing mat, cutter, and replacement blades. So make sure that you get it like this whenever you start buying your sewing equipment. And you're going to need this ironing tool. This is for when you want to iron your bust or your shoulder or anything that has a curve on it. You iron it right here. And then there is the clapper. So basically, if you're ironing a seam open, let's say for example, you're ironing the side seam open, once you're done pressing it, you lift up the iron and then you clap this down. That way it stays flat and nice like that. And you're not like burning your hand every 2 minutes. So this comes in very handy. This is one of the pressing tools that you might need. And these are tracing paper. Tracing papers are used for when you want to transfer your dot lines or any markings from your pattern onto your fabric. This is what I use to do that. So what I do is I put this right side facing the wrong side of my fabric, and then I put my pattern on it like this. And then I use my tracing wheel to transfer whatever I need to transfer from my pattern onto my fabric. You can also get this on Amazon. You also need a roll of drafting paper. There are some drafting papers that come with dots, which makes it easier for people that are still starting off drafting. And then there's the plain drafting paper, which basically looks like parchment paper, and it's very much see-through. So you can get this, or you can get the ones that come with dots and numbers. So if you don't have the money to buy this, or at 3 a.m. you just randomly run out of drafting paper, you can use that newspaper that they usually put in our mailbox. You know, the ones that everyone trashes? Yeah, you can use that. Just tape it with a masking tape and make as much as you need, and then draft whatever you need to draft on it. So get this. It's on Amazon as well. And lastly, you might want to get muslin fabric. If you're going to get a muslin fabric, get 5 inches to 10 inches. That way you have it. A muslin fabric is basically a test fabric. It's the fabric that you use to test out your designs before you actually use your fashion fabric. Because if you mess up your fashion fabric, that's a waste of money and a waste of time. So they usually recommend that you get a muslin fabric to practice first before you actually cut into your fashion fabric. And if you're a beginner, this is the book that you're going to need if you want to start, okay? It has everything in it, and it's for students, it's for fashion students, okay? So if you ever think, oh, what fashion book should I get? Get this one first. Get this one first, and then everything else can follow afterwards. But this is my go-to. As you can see, it's worn and torn, and it's been through a lot. It's been through a war. Those are basically all the tools you need to start sewing. I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything, but if I did, I'm gonna make an updated version of this video and I'm gonna put it up on my channel so that you guys can watch it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.